Yeah, not wanting to hold up proceedings any further, I think we'll move on with the main agenda now. So I'll invite our first keynote speaker up to the stage, if that's okay. So Pippa Bennett, yeah, if you join me up on the stage. Just a brief introduction to Pippa, because it could be much longer, but I'll cover some of the main points. So recently appointed CMO, Paralympics GB, I think was it February this year or something? Yeah, so excellent person to be speaking, obviously, for the focus of today's forum. But also previously CMO England women's football team, British gymnastics, and also the British Equestrian Federation as well, I think, and more than 20 years in elite sport as well. So I'm sure there's lots to reflect upon today. So yeah, welcome to the stage, and it's all yours. So
yeah,
do you know?
Thank you very much. I think it's.
You know what you're doing with that, yes.
That one.
Great.
What was yours? I'll stand a little bit closer to this. I was appointed in February, filling the big shoes of Stuart Miller as CMO for Paralympics GB and BPA, and work within the English Institute of Sport, as well as the medical lead for paramedicine, as it were. Like many doctors, I do wear other hats, and I continue to work for the Football Association, not with England teams now. I'll be cheering them on at Old Trafford week after next, I think is their first game. But I oversee the women's professional game, the top two tiers, and also our para footballers. We have 7 para football teams under the FA. And unfortunately, our blind men's squad narrowly missed out on direct qualification for Paris last week, but did pick up a bronze medal at the European Championships and beat Germany on penalties. It can be done. That's me. What I wanted to do, I think my task today was really, hopefully, to set us on the way today and to talk about integrity in para sport. And what I wanted to share with you was actually the BPA's vision, mission, and values. And we often see these written on websites and documents, but I wanted to bring this to the fore, really, because I think it is key for today's discussions. This is the vision of the BPA. It doesn't mention medals. It's a vision. It's out there, isn't it? It talks about how sport can be a powerful tool for good. And this is how, hopefully, we'll get there. It is about performance. Again, still no mention of medals. And then that longer term aim of sustainable change in the UK. Now, with any vision and mission, it has to be underpinned by values. And the values that the BPA have are these: excellence, respect, and integrity. And there's my lovely para dressage team that I looked after for a few years. Integrity. It is a fundamental to sport, and absolutely fundamental to para sport. And then I got to think, well, what do we mean by integrity? What is it? Well, this is what the BPA feel it means in their sort of strategy, that it's demanding the highest standards from ourselves and other people, always doing the right thing, being open and transparent in everything we do. That's what the BPA feels is what is integrity in para sport. And what do I, as a doc, as I say, I've been around for a wee while, graduated at Leeds. Where's our Leeds Beckett friends? So up the road at the med school. In a medical setting, it's about honesty. It's about keeping my word, adhering to the principles, my good medical practice. My default is always the GMC's code of conduct, and doing it when it's actually not easy to do. And that's particularly relevant, I think, in elite sport. And as we're often tasked to help push the boundaries, to get those marginal gains. And that's absolutely fine, but that puts us sometimes in very difficult situations. And it's when it's in those difficult situations that you have to come back to your integrity. Where do I draw the line in this? For example, do I inject this athlete's foot so that they can compete? Where do I draw the line with what I do? And that always questions our integrity. When it's not easy to do so, that's when our integrity has to be to the fore. And then in sport, it's about, again, honesty, ethics, fairness, inclusion, and playing by the rules. That's what it's about. And in this week, when we digest and reflect on the White Review, this is very much to the fore. And if any of you haven't read at least the executive summary of the White Review of British Gymnastics, I urge you to. The whole White Review is 309 pages. I haven't finished it yet, but I urge you to read it. It's a salutary lesson to all of us in sport, where it comes down to integrity. So it's about truth, it's about trust, it's about confidence, and it's about fairness. That's what, if you say, someone got integrity, well, you trust them, you have confidence in them, and they treat you and others with fairness. That's what integrity means for me. So is parasport any different? Question mark. Yes or no? I think it, in many respects, it isn't, but it has particular issues for sure, and classification, we're going to discuss that today, is obviously a particular issue for integrity of parasport. But it is absolutely vital for the journey, I'll come on to that in a moment, of parasport, that we keep the integrity of it absolutely right, so that we can inspire the next generation. So where is it different? Well, for me, as a medic in working with para-athletes, more so than non-parasport, the athlete absolutely has to be at the centre of everything we do. Because my first as a doctor is do no harm. My duty of care is first and foremost to that athlete I see in front of me. They have had, quite often, gone through trauma, gone through operations, illnesses, etc. And their comorbidities can be very, very complex. I treat them as a person first and an athlete second. And so my duty of care has to be first and foremost to the person in front of me. And also that every single athlete we see is unique. No two spinal cord injuries are the same. Every single athlete is unique. So that puts parasport, I think, in a slightly different realm than non-parasport. And I spoke briefly about the journey. If we're to continue this journey to win well, and that's the UK sports vision now, is not just to win. There will be some medal targets for sure, but it's about winning well. And if we're to continue to that, then we have two things for all of us. The athlete's voice. We all have the responsibility, and again I go back to the White Report, we all have the responsibility to ensure that the athlete's voice is heard and empowered, and we all have the responsibility to call out any concerns, whether it's about clean sport or other concerns about integrity in our sport. We all have that responsibility, and that's certainly something that I reflect on, having worked with British Gymnastics, reflect on that perhaps we didn't do enough of, for sure. And I keep this quite brief, but to come back to, the vision that it's not about medals for Paralympics GB. It is about inspiring the next generation, inspiring everybody, and as Nelson Mandela put it, sport does. It has the power. It has, and with that power comes great responsibility. But it has the power to inspire, the power to unite, and it can be a power for good. And hopefully we'll see fantastic Euros with the. We've got Wimbledon first, haven't we? Wimbledon, and then the Women's Euros and Commonwealth Games here. Hopefully we will see that power this summer in this country. Thank you.
Did anyone have any questions? We probably haven't got time for one or two, but if anyone's got any questions, just before. Did anyone have any questions?
Could I just ask one? So, I really like about the reference to athlete voice and supporting para athletes and the partners really key. I do think that is a challenge that we have in that. I know you touched on classification, but often the athlete voice is a medical system, and that sometimes undermines the athlete's voice, or they're not seen and heard. And I was just wondering what your thoughts are on how that could be changed or considered.
Yes, I completely agree. I think we medicalise a lot of things, don't we? Not just classification. I think we medicalise, and certainly as a medic, I'm just about to ring my GP surgery on behalf of my mum, because they didn't hear her voice, and she certainly didn't hear them. But she's deaf at the end of the phone. How can we improve it? Yeah, I think research, for example, having patients, athletes, part of research, part of committees. It has to be on every level to hear that voice. I think that's the